Good Monday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls, and of course we have a busy week ahead of us. It is 4th of July week. A lot of people are off from work, going on vacation, or thinking about going on vacation this upcoming weekend. And it looks like the weather really got the memo. Mother Nature is giving us mid-90s late this week, a lot of humidity to go along with it. But for those of you that may be staying local, also happening this weekend is the NASCAR race. So it's going to be a very busy weekend across the Chicago area. And it looks like we could be dodging at least a couple showers or thunderstorms for that. So we're going to touch on that forecast for this evening. And then also tracking the tropics. They're getting busier and busier. We are now dealing with Flossie, currently moving through as a tropical storm in the eastern Pacific. But that is likely going to become a hurricane sometime tonight, if not early tomorrow morning, and then possibly even strengthen into a Category 2. So I'm going to show you where that's headed. All right, let's get started and talk about our high temperatures for today on a national level here. This is a very typical weather pattern that we're seeing this time of the year. We have very hot conditions across the Southwest, portions of Southern California, Arizona, and the triple digits. Here at home, we ended up topping out right around 90 degrees for the high, and you'll notice throughout the whole eastern half of the U.S., we still have that warmer air that's in place. It's also been pretty muggy, a little humid out there, but some relief is in store, at least for the Great Lakes region going throughout the next couple of days. Take a look locally here. We topped out at 90 at O'Hare, 91 at the Chicago lakefront. So we had that heat all the way over to the lake. And by the way, that's making a huge difference when it comes to our water temperatures. So just about 2.5 weeks ago, the water temp at the Chicago shoreline was only 62 degrees. As of today, we're up to 71 degrees. So we've already warmed up in quite a decent amount over the last 2.5 weeks. Temperatures in Gary today topped out at 91. We made it to about 89 degrees in Aurora, 92 in Joliet, and typically for this time of the year, your average high is right around 84 degrees. So a lot of us were coming in at least about 5 degrees above that. Now tomorrow we're returning to what's considered to be average here around the Chicago area, 86 degrees. But I think the biggest thing that you're going to notice tomorrow is the lack of humidity. So tonight we actually have a cold front that's been working its way through the area very slowly. That's why we were also dealing with a couple spotty showers and thunderstorms a few hours ago. Now we're going to start to see skies clearing out tonight. Dew points are going to be dropping. Actual air temperatures for a lot of us are going to be in the upper 60s to low 70s, so a fairly comfortable night. But tomorrow, it's actually going to be feeling like the mid 80s. So we don't have those higher humidity levels to worry about on Tuesday, although on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there you see it. We are right back up into the 90s again. Low to mid 90s expected late this week. That's going to take us right on through the 4th of July and then also into this upcoming weekend. And for those of you thinking about your plans, what you're going to be doing, just have some water nearby. That is the best way I think you could be spending this holiday weekend, just because it's going to be so hot and muggy. So those heat index values, those are likely going to be coming very close to the triple digits. Now the temperature outlook, looking beyond the next 5 days. So this is from July 6th through the 10th. That is Sunday through Thursday of next week. You'll notice how most of the continental United States is actually forecast to be warmer than average, especially here around Chicago, over toward the Great Lakes region, and then off toward the north and the east. The mid-Atlantic states also expected to be above average. So if you're doing a little bit of traveling, almost anywhere you're going, it's looking like it's going to be possibly a little warmer than what's considered to be average. Now, unfortunately, for those of you hoping for some water around here, you're hoping for some rain. We have a couple rain chances in the forecast late this week and then into this upcoming weekend. But you'll notice here from this graphic, it's really not going to be amounting to all this much. So this is futurecast precipitation running us from basically right now all the way through the end of the day on Sunday. And you'll notice that we're only forecast to get about 1/10 of an inch area wide, a couple pockets of 1/4 of an inch, but we need a lot more than that to dig our way out of the drought. So a lot of the region is still considered to be in a moderate drought. And I don't think that's going to be changing anytime soon. If anything, we're likely going to see those drought conditions getting a little bit worse over the next week, week and a half, especially since we have such warm air that's going to be building in. So what we do need is a really big soaker that's coming through for several days of a really nice light rain. I don't have that in my forecast throughout the next week. The next chance of rain isn't going to be here until Thursday. And even then, it's just a very, very small chance. Isolated pop-up showers and thunderstorms in the evening hours of Thursday. Otherwise, we are going to be very dry around here. So for those of you wondering about your gardens, your lawns, your flowers, unfortunately, we still have to do all of the work around here. Your 5-day forecast as far as rainfall is concerned, notice the background on this graphic here. That is for the NASCAR race that is coming our way this weekend. So again, a really busy weekend on tap, and we could we could be seeing a couple showers and thunderstorms developing on Saturday. And if that's the case, that could, of course, be impacting qualifying that's taking place for NASCAR on Saturday right here in the downtown area. But temperatures, I think for a lot of you that are going to be out there, you actually may be hoping for the rain, because take a look at the temperatures. We're going to be in the 90s this upcoming weekend. So qualifying begins at 2, which means a lot of NASCAR fans are going to be heading out probably closer to 11 a.m., noon. And temperatures by that point, we're already going to be right around 90 degrees. So on Saturday, we're going to have hot, we're going to have muggy conditions, and nearly the same exact forecast is expected for Sunday for the race itself. So if you do have tickets to head out to NASCAR this weekend, I know thousands upon thousands of people do, make sure you have ways of keeping yourself cool and make sure you are just down in the water. You're going to need it both days, Saturday and on Sunday. So the satellite and radar, here's what we're dealing with right now. We have a cold front that's off to our south and our east now, and it's beginning to work its way off toward the east very slowly, but we are now on the back side of that. And if we zoom things in just a little bit here, you're going to notice that we have spotty showers across portions of the area. That's going to be the story through at least about 10 or 11 p.m. After that, we're going to start to see decrease in cloud cover. So hopefully for those of you that are waiting on the rain, you can get at least a couple sprinkles out there. But again, no drought busters in sight. That's what we're going to be seeing for the next couple of hours. Your drought monitor, all areas that you see here in tan, that's representing a moderate drought. That's where we've been really for the last couple of months for most of the area. But for those of you in the far southern sections, I'm talking portions of southeastern LaSalle County, Grundy County, Kankakee County, you've actually improved. You're completely out of the drought status, so you're not even considered to be abnormally dry. But again, the rest of Chicagoland is still very dry out there. But we do have at least a little bit of hope on a couple of days here or there. Futurecast taking us throughout the rest of this evening. Our rain chance, that's already diminishing, and that's going to be out of here. And then tomorrow, we're waking up to nice sunny conditions across the area. We'll start off the day right around 70 degrees. And then through the day, we're expected to see just a couple light passing clouds. That's about it. Maybe just a few cumulus clouds. Those are your fair weather clouds that you often hear us talk about. And temperatures tomorrow are going to be very comfortable and seasonable in the mid 80s. And that humidity is going to be lower as well. And then looking forward to Wednesday. Wednesday, we start off sunny. We're going to become partly cloudy during the day. But temperatures, they're already warming back up. So we're going to be near 90 degrees for your highs on Wednesday. And you'll notice that cold front off to our north for those of you that are possibly heading north toward Wisconsin. That cold front's going to help you out up north, but not so much here. It's going to wash out before it even makes it to us. So no relief from the heat. Once we hit Wednesday, we are going to be stuck in the 90s through the end of the week and then likely through this upcoming weekend as well. Coming up right after this break, I'm going to be tracking the tropics. We have 2 potential systems to tell you about. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Welcome back. As expected, Tropical Storm Flossie developed late in the weekend and is now moving through the eastern Pacific. We were tracking this area of low pressure since last week, but now it is officially a tropical storm. We have maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour. This is just off the coast of southern Mexico, and it's moving to the northwest at about 12 miles per hour. But fortunately, it does not appear like Flossie is forecast to make landfall, which means it's going to stay out over the water. Here's a look at where this is going to be headed. So it's still going to be taking off toward the north and the west, but it could be increasing in strength. So right now we have those 65 mile per hour winds. Forecast tonight into early tomorrow has Flossie becoming a Category 1 hurricane. So what does that mean? Remember, we only rank hurricanes based on their wind speeds. It's not about the impact. It's not about how much rain is coming along with them. It comes down to the wind on how they're ranked when it comes to those categories. So this likely becomes a Category 1 some point tonight, if not early tomorrow morning, with maximum sustained winds somewhere between 74 miles per hour and 95 miles per hour. But there's a chance that this actually could strengthen into a Category 2 sometime Tuesday night into the early morning hours of Wednesday. So this particular system looks like it could be increasing to have 105 mile per hour winds. But here's the good news. Do you see just as quickly as it begins to strengthen, a lot of it begins to weaken as well the farther that we go out in this week. So by Thursday, we're likely back down to a Category 1, and then going into the end of the day on Thursday, we're being downgraded to a tropical storm, and then eventually just a tropical depression as that gets a little bit closer to the Baja California Peninsula. And why is that happening? Well, a lot of it comes down to the water temperatures. So take a look at the sea surface temperatures here. Where Flossie is currently, we have sea surface temperatures that are in the low to mid 80s. And typically to sustain either a tropical storm or a hurricane, you need sea surface temperatures of at least 80 degrees. Notice how quickly the water temperatures begin to cool off the farther north and west that you go. So that's going to tear apart the storm. It's no longer going to fuel it like what it is currently. So again, this is forecast to become a Category 2 by sometime Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. But then by late this week, the end of the day on Thursday into early Friday, it's likely going to become a tropical depression. So downgrading, and it is not expected to hit land. Something that we are going to be feeling the impacts of, though, is in southern Texas. We could be getting some of that tropical moisture all associated with this system and the flow around that system. So you have counterclockwise wind flow that's going to bring in that tropical moisture to places like Texas late this week and then possibly into the weekend as well. Now, bouncing over to the Atlantic, you see this area that's highlighted in yellow stretching right across Florida and then over toward the southeast off the coast of South Carolina. So there's possibly going to be a low pressure system that develops by this upcoming weekend, and then it could potentially become either a tropical depression, a tropical low, something that we're going to be having to track very closely going into the beginning of next week. So the National Hurricane Center does have this area that's highlighted in yellow here under a 20% risk of seeing some sort of development that they're going to have to watch. So that could be impacting some of your holiday plans if you are going to be traveling down toward the south and the east sometime late this weekend and then into early next week. We're likely going to be seeing some precipitation along with that across the southeast. Here at home, 69 degrees for your overnight low. We will have north-northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. A couple stray showers out there over the next few hours, and then that's really going to be about it. We see decreasing clouds after that, and then a detailed look at your forecast for tomorrow. Temperatures looking really nice, very pleasant. We're going to be in the mid-80s, low humidity expected. And then at the lakefront, we're expected to see temperatures that are only in the lower 80s. We're going to have that northwesterly wind flow. So in northwest Indiana, temperatures likely going to be just a hair cooler in the upper 70s to low 80s during the afternoon. 3-day forecast, good couple of days to have a pool nearby. 86 degrees tomorrow, 90 degrees, partly cloudy on Wednesday. Thursday, we're at 92 degrees, and it gets even hotter going into your 4th of July weekend. That includes the 4th of July itself, but then also into Saturday and Sunday. I'll have a detailed look at your weekend coming up very soon on the news at 9. We'll see you soon.